racers and race fans. You're watching the SCL Racing Network. I'm your host, Carlin Hicks, here today for the running of the SCL Season 26 Imola Grand Prix, the second round of the SCL Season 26 International Le Mans Series, the Sports Car Championship on the International Tour. This is the second round of 6. Fresh off of Monaco a couple weeks ago. We've got both of the class winners back here. These cars running in the LMP2 and the GTE class, the top level of sports cars in the Sunday Cup League. As I said, the International Le Mans Series, our International Tour Sports Car Championship, and we are going to have a very concise and tough 11-car field for this event on the still developing SCL International Le Mans Series. After the first round at Monaco saw Cut Loose, your overall winner in the LMP2s, and Average Gamer, your winner in the GTEs. They are your current points leaders, with Inside Line Racing actually holding the edge in the team championship coming in. Tidy 6-round championship, so these cars definitely looking forward. We're in qualifying right now. We've got an hour 45 for the race coming in front of us, and we're hoping to see a good show. Many of you regular SCL Racing Network fans may recognize some of these drivers from the American Tour counterpart to the series, the Camel GT series. However, I think we're going to see here on the International Tour a little bit of a different flavor. There's more than half, much of this field, 10 cars in the field actually. Yours truly, Carlin Hicks, is not one of them right there. 10 cars in the field. We got 6 GTEs, 4 P2s, a little smaller of a field than is the standard in the established Camel GT series, but we're still going to see a heck of a race, in my opinion here. Imola, of course, the famous circuit about 40 miles outside of the Principality of San Marino. Of course, tomorrow the Formula One World Championship will be here for the San Marino Grand Prix in SCL, so we'll be looking forward to that one. And yours truly will be getting jet lag heading back to the States to race at Long Beach tonight in the Camel GT series, which is the exact same cars you're seeing now, just the American Tour version. So should be a good show as these cars are wrapping up their qualifying. I'm going to get myself back over in the race room. You guys listen up and we'll get your starting order to those drivers. Alright guys, going to give you your starting order here for the SCL 26 Imola Grand Prix, provided it allows me to show the classes. Alright, starting on the pole in the P2 class is Cut Loose. I'm sorry, I constantly forget his team affiliation. Aussie Racing Team, that's right. Too much to remember, my apologies. All right, Cut Loose from Aussie Racing Team is going to start on the pole in the P2 class. Starting second will be Webloom from Inside Line Racing. Third will be Rita St. James from JME Motorsports. And fourth is her JME teammate S2N Remy. Fifth will be your pole sitter in the GTE class from Extreme Speed Motorsport, Average Gamer. Excuse me. Sixth place, Guntar from Green Mountain Enterprises. 7th will be Shane O'Kano in the Sunday Cup League account for Aussie Rates Team. 8th will be McToasty in the independent car. 9th is Richcore from Inside Line Racing. 10th is TS24 Fan, also from Inside Line Racing. And that's your field, guys. I'm going to get back in the booth, put on a show for us, and we'll see you guys on the other side. Good luck. All right, let's see what we're going to get here. Make myself retire. As I said, an international tour race is still series in development. 10 cars, a bit of a small field. We had, I believe, 13, 14 starters in the last round at Monaco, but we still expect to see a heck of a race. In the 4 P2s, cut loose the winner in round 1 at Monaco. That was his first career SCL International Le Mans Series win. I would think with the lap time he put up in qualifying, he may be in very good position to make that 2 in a row. Webb Bloom, however, should be very close. Rita and Remy, tough to tell. They run the GTE class over in Camel GT and are both making a spot start here in Imola today, running in the JME P2 cars. So tough to tell what they'll do in that it's not their main class. And GTE Average Gamer won a very tough race, narrowly held off Dalrymple Dimple, who is not here this week to win at Monaco. Comes in as the point leader. He's going to have Guntar, who's another American Tour driver, making a spot start in essence. And totally, let's see, 1, 2, 3. Only see 4 of the 10 drivers Americans here in this international tour race. Not a surprise there. So total of 5 or 6 in total that are Camel GT regulars making the start over here. International tour rules uses Parc Ferme. These guys are not going to be making their strategy stop. They are going to be heading straight out for the start of this race next time by. I should pull up my Imola track map here. Maybe hopping in and out of the booth a little on you guys, but we should have ourselves a good race. And this whole thing is completely upside down. All right, they come through. All right, coming through turn 10 now, heading down towards Variante Alta. This is a little 11 and 12 backhander right there. And we are almost set to go green. They're going to go green on the lights. 10 cars. Excellent sports car racing we're going to have here this afternoon. Cut Loose, Australian driver for Aussie Race Team. As I said, P2 winner in round 1 at Monaco. Looking to extend that points lead. And he'll be looking to see if he can stretch out and pull away here in the early going. All right, Imola Grand Prix, SCL International Le Mans Series round 2. We are getting prepared to go green here. Cut loose bringing us down. All right, and we are green at Imola. Rita gets a good jump. As they head down towards turn 2, 3, 4 complex, Traguardo and Tamburello. Appears to be a pretty good start. Let's try to get in the middle of the field here. You can see the P2s not quite pulled away yet from the GTEs, which are going to end up being right on top of each other throughout this race, I think. All right, back with you. As you can see, a whole lot of drivers making the decision here to pit almost immediately under green here. That's the interesting stratagem in the International Le Mans Series. Is with Parc Fermé rules, you start out with the defaults. Is it worth it to you to make that early pit stop to get the tires on that you want? Obviously, 3 of the P2s and 1 of the GTEs, TS24 fan, have all decided that it is. And so they're all in. Now everybody's off on their different strategies, and we'll see how it plays out. Meanwhile, front of the field there, Webloom, the third season driver from Inside Line Racing, takes the lead in the P2 class right now. GTE class has got a battle as Guntar, average gamer behind him in the yellow Corvette, and that's Shane O'Kano the Sunday Cup League account behind them, running 1, 2, 3 in their class at the moment as things have cycled. Shano, a driver who had some misfortune. He suffered a DNF, and Webbloom deciding to hit the pits as well. So he obviously wants to follow the leader. We'll see if he can come out anywhere near the cars he's racing. As they're already, well, that's the GTEs passing them. We'll see how the P2s go. But meanwhile, back at that GTE battle, Shano Kano third in that line, right back there. Shano, winner of the last 2 Campbell GT Series GTE class championships, and has moved over to the International Tour here in season 26, and starting off this season with a DNF here in the Le Mans Series at Monaco puts him a little behind the 8 ball heading into round 2, but he's still got time to recover from it. And right now, I got a feeling these 3 are going to be all over each other for the next 90 plus minutes in the GTE class. All right, the P2 cycle out after their pit stop. Cut Loose comes out a few seconds ahead of Webbloom, Remy, and Rita, who, as you can see, are all 3 right on top of each other. Cut Loose, my pick here to win his 2nd straight Le Mans Series class win, simply because I think he's got the most time on these circuits. He's mostly an International Tour specialist, running on the International Tour, and he's been very good. As I said, he was terrific at Monaco in earning that P2 win, and right now he's running about 3 seconds out in front. We'll get back to that, but it looks like right now there's your GTE battle and overall battle at the moment. These guys staying out. All but TS24 fan decided to go ahead and run their defaults here at the start. Well, looks like Average looking to make a move on Gunter. Can't quite get it done. Gunter, the team owner of newly formed Green Mountain Enterprises, doing a fine job. That team was able to claim their first points wins at Speed Weeks and Support Series. Average Gamer showing a little patience right now, still early. He's known for being quick out of the box, but also for putting it around once in a while. So we'll see if he can hang tight. We'll lock it on him and try to get these 3 in the same frame. Rich Core not far back as well. But as you can see, only about a 5-6 second gap in lap time between these 2 classes, so makes things interesting when the traffic hits. Such a great circuit here at Imola. As I said, San Marino Grand Prix will be run tomorrow. Yours truly being an American Tour driver, I'm not super familiar with this place. I've run here for a handful of club races, maybe a couple of pro-ams and whatnot, but not super familiar with the track. I am, however, familiar with the cars, being that the Campbell GT Series and International Le Mans Series run the same specification of cars, and I can tell you that the monkey wrench in there, the Parc Ferme rules, is capable of making things very interesting. Very, very interesting. Back on the American Tour tonight, the Long Beach GT Classic will be run. I'll be topping on the old corporate jet to get back for that one. Last night at the Grand Prix of Long Beach, Baron von Stosch got his first win in that event. 3rd career IndyCar win with a terrific performance, leading a top 5 that would include Defense clap clap, it's PT, Rita St. James, and yours truly, Carlin Hicks, rounding out that top 5. Take a look back at how the P2s are going. Cut Loose has a little bit of an edge. He's got a couple of seconds right now. You can see Webb Bloom, Remy, and Rita coming up in the frame there as we're only about 10 minutes into this race. All right, I'm going to put it back on our overall leader here, and be right back with you guys after a station break. All right there, folks. Sorry, doing a little multitasking of my own there. Doing a little multitasking there. So we're joining you back here in the broadcast. It appears as though we lost a driver. It is in the GTE class. I'm not certain who that was. Guntar. Looks like Average Gamer, unfortunately, the points leader. Average Gamer, the winner at Monaco, out in the GTE class. Let me see if I can get him here into the party. And we'll try to get a word with Average. I don't see him online at the moment, so he comes back on. We'll try to get him going here. But just over an hour remaining in the hour and 45 minutes here at the Imola Grand Prix. And let's take a look at the field. Top of the field right there, cut loose. Your pole sitter in P2, he is in the lead. As you can see in the background behind him, Rita St. James is running second, about 2.5 seconds back. Back in third at about 4.5 seconds back is Webbloom. And Remy, who may be off sequence here, not 100% certain, he is currently 19-20 seconds back, rounding out fourth. In the GTE class, your leader is Guntar. They are definitely off sequences. He's got a 40-second lead on Shane O'Kano in second, who's got TS24 fan all over his bumper. And not far behind them, Rich Core running fourth in class right there with McToasty right on his tail. So we got battles on the track here, particularly at the, let's take a look at it up here, Shane O'Kano and TS24 fan Aussie race team versus Inside Line Racing, the battle for 6th overall, second in class. So definitely excellent battles forming here on the track. Those of you drivers, viewers wanting to get into the action here in SCL, links to the website are in the description there. We encourage you to jump on board for the best self-contained sim racing you'll find on a console. All right, let's get on board here with TS24 fan and the Inside Line Racing Ford GT, that newly formed team. TS is a veteran driver. He came into the league back in season 21, still in the GT6 days, now in his 6th SCL season. And he's been a part-timer for the most part. Never really run any particular series for the full series. But TS now newly forming Inside Line Racing. For the first time, he's got a good group of teammates sharing test data, and I really expect to see him do something, especially since he's running here on the international tour and helping establish this. And he is all over Shano. You got to believe he's on better tires or something right now. I'll give you a hint on that. Oh, he is on a lighter fuel load. TS on a much lighter fuel load. And he has got to get by Shano here as soon as possible to take advantage. All right, we've got Remy hitting the pit lane for JME Motorsports. Going to get his service. I believe we're going to see fuel and tires here for Remy, making the stop just about the 1 hour mark. So he is definitely going to have to come in at least one more time. All right, so let's get back to that battle with TS and Shano. Behind him, McToasty and Rich Core, they are still right on top of each other right there. Oh, TS appears to have finally made the pass. TS gets by Shano, moves into second in class. And they are about 45 seconds behind Guntar, the class leader. I doubt they've lost that on track at this point unless they've been around looping it a couple times. That seems like it might be a cycle of pit stop thing. We'll have to wait and see. But that's what it's looking like to me right now. Shano still fighting that car. He might be running on that heavy fuel load. All right, our overall leader cut loose into the pits for Aussie Race Team. right at the 1 hour mark. That's going to cycle Rita into the overall lead. Cut Loose going for his second straight win here this week. Now you see them sitting there when the fuel's done and the hose is out and the crews aren't going. That means they're changing the tires. So he is definitely making at least a 2-tire change, and judging by the amount of time, possibly a 4-tire change. All right, so he comes out. We'll see where he's at when he rejoins. TS got by Shano, but hasn't really pulled away from him as of yet. Looks like about 30 seconds back, Cut Loose comes out behind Rita and Webloom at the top of the field. Looks like McToasty might have... Let's see where they're at on the track. They are not 10 seconds apart. I don't care what that scoring loop says. They are right in front of each other, so may have a little bit of the timings. Might be a little bit off here. There's McToasty coming up behind him. He's got the overall leader catching him slowly but surely. All right, Rita's going to hit the pits here at the 58-minute mark. Well, let's see where she comes out in relation to Cut Loose. Who makes the quicker pit stop here? All right, out she comes. Let's get on board Cut Loose here with the chase cam. I think he might... Oh, look at how they come out right there. Beautiful, beautiful pit stops by both. Managed to get them in and out of the pits right on top of each other. All right, so Cut Loose assumes second, Rita in third, and they are right together at the 57-minute mark. Webloom, meanwhile, cycling up to the lead for inside line. Judging by his fuel load, he is almost certainly coming in this time. Going to have to pit at the end of this lap and cycle that lead back up as he hops the curb there, going into Tamburello. He's coming around and yeah, he's peeling off. Now let's see where Webloom comes out in relation to Rita and Cut Loose here. Here comes the fueling, inside line crew all over it. All right, there they go by right now. Rita, who has taken the lead on Cut Loose, must have had a problem there. Rita goes out in front. Give me a second here to set up our... All right, back on it. Sorry about that, guys. All right, let's give you a little rundown of the field. 55 minutes remaining in the Imola Grand Prix for the International Le Mans Series. There is your leader, Rita St. James, right now. Coming out of the cycle of pit stops, right in the background, you will see Cut Loose running in second, your pole sitter and current points leader in the P2 class here. In third is Webloom. He's about 19 seconds back, and he's got Remy right on his tail. So those two battling for a podium spot at the moment, but we've still got a long way to go. Meanwhile, the GTE class, Guntar, may be a bit off sequence here. He's running about 50 seconds ahead of TS24 Fan and Shano Kano, who you see right there in the screen in front of you battling for second. And then meanwhile, fourth and fifth place, a little bit farther apart, there's Richcore and McToasty. And here we go, Guntar hitting the pits. Will there be a tire change? That's going to be the big thing here. Oh, and he misses his pit stall. Guntar just overshoots it, corrects it quickly. He's going to lose a couple seconds there. And this is where we're going to be seeing your TS and Shano. Where do they cycle back? It's at a smaller field here in the International Le Mans Series in its return season, but it's still going to be a great race as these cars are right on top of each other. All right, let's jump on to TS, get on the chase cam. You can see Shano right behind him, and let's see, do they get out in time? Guntar's rolling, and they are not even around the corner, so he has definitely got the lead. He's going to come out of the pits. He's going to come out of the pits comfortably in front. Looks like about 15, 16 seconds as TS hits the pits right now. Needing fuel. Shano, meanwhile, appears to be good for a while, so we'll see how this shakes out. Guntar has a comfortable lead of about 18 seconds on Shano, but that can go away in a heartbeat. Not a lot of traffic to deal with on this track. So we'll have to see how that plays out as TS falls to the back of the group making his pit stop. Let's go back up to Rita. She just crosses the start-finish line. Let's get a cockpit view with Miss Rita St. James as she comes down into turn one. Now it's through 2, Trigardo, through 3, and now the high-speed Tamburello curve. Rita running in the 32 JME Orca. That is actually my car in the Camel GT series, as Rita runs GTE over on the American Tour. Now she comes through Tosa in turn 7. Little hitch down to Piratella in turn 8. It's going to be a hard left-hander right here. Turns 9 and 10. Acque and Minerale. Very tough, tight corners here at Imola. It's no doubt a very difficult track. She's trying to get by, gets by the GTE car here as she heads down to the 11 and 12, the Volante Alta section. Quick little hairpin. Runs it a little wide. And now down 13 and into 14, 15, Ravazza. This is a very tough, probably one of the most important corners, because as you see, it's off camber. You got to use the rumble strips a little bit, and right there she comes through and back onto the front stretch. Now this makes it a good a time as any to take a ride along. Let's see where our GTE leader is, and here is Guntar running in the inside line racing for GT. Guntar taking the same approach through 2 and 3 here. Little hop up on the curb. Uses the runoff. Wondering if I missed a pit stop out of Shano. Don't believe so, but he's fallen back to 3rd in class and has allowed, with a 1:49 lap there. Yeah, it looks like Shano had an off or a mistake on that last lap. And he's going to have to try to chase down Richcore for 2nd in class there. There, Gunter comes around, completes the lap here in the Ford GT. He appears to be cruising at the moment. That's our closest battle for second in GTE, 6th overall. Rich Core, part of the Inside Line Racing team, another promising driver in, I believe, his 3rd SCL season. Made a terrific performance last night over in the American Tour as he qualified into the Grand Prix of Long Beach in the IndyCar Series through at-large qualifying. He did not get the finish that he wanted near the back of the field, but with 25 entries to that race, just making that field was an accomplishment in and of itself. And now he's going Ford against Ford here with a 2-time Campbell GT champion in Shane O'Kano. A lot of time left in this race. Next round of this particular series is somewhere, and I'm not looking at it because I'm apparently not paying attention to what I'm doing. My apologies here. What I need is a statistician here with me to help me out. But the early swing, Monaco, Imola, they're going to be heading going to be running at Spa, Great Britain. European stages continuing all the way up to 6 rounds in the International. Lamar says, as Rich Core goes off into the sand trap, he overshoots it on the back section and gives away second place. Tough break for Rich Core. He catches onto it, does a great job of staying. Ooh. Does a good job of not making contact back on the track, but he falls back to 3rd in class right there. That's a tough break for him. Just got way too hot in that corner. He might have some tire wear issues going on. He's been out there for a while on these and maybe having some tire trouble, but tough break for him. He's going to have to get back on it. As Guntar maintains a 26-second advantage here over Shano. As those two still very close together. Meanwhile, 4th in class, McToasty in the Corvette, running as an independent. I believe he's a driver from Australia. Another one of our Aussie drivers running on the international tour. I could be wrong about that. He might be one of the New Zealanders. I'm sure he'll correct me on it. But as you can see by his lap times, and he's been in the 144s, he's been running as quick. But a lot of these guys who are just new to the SCL, McToasty, a rookie driver, they have experience on the software. They have experience racing elsewhere, particularly at club level racing and sprint racing. But racing in these long endurance races, putting your strategy together takes time. McToasty is a promising driver, I promise you. And I believe with the right team, he could have excellent shot. As you take a look at the line there, the live track is so great. As he's going to come in, McToasty's going to come in and make his pit stop. Slide into the box. See if the rookie hits his box dead on. He does a perfect job. Great job for McToasty there. As he's going to try to cycle out. TS might take him for 4th in class here, but we'll have to wait and see. Back up front with Reed, other overall leader. Take a look at the line there, the live track, as I was saying here on excellent weather here today at Imola. Medium cloud cover, as you can see. But look in the outside of the groove. You see the marbles showing up there in the groove? I promise you, those of you not familiar with the Project Cars 2 software we're using for SCL, you feel those, and they build up over the race. Later on in a race, when you get off in those marbles, they're worse than they were early in the race. And I think some guys that even race here regularly don't really realize that. I think the reason sometimes is when you're in the car online, doesn't always show up visually. You won't always see those marbles the way you will in an offline race, but they're there, and I'm in the broadcast, and it's showing them to me. And that's what you got to watch out for. That might have even contributed to Richcore locking up the brakes going into the 2-3 complex there a few laps ago. But 45 minutes to go now out of the hour and 45 Imola Grand Prix. I know Rita, for example, she's a Camel GT regular, doesn't regularly run International Le Mans. She's here because she's gearing up for round 3 of the Formula One World Championship. She is the current points leader after the first 2 rounds heading into the San Marino Grand Prix tomorrow, and she wanted the extra track time here at the track. And right now she's holding about 3 seconds over Cutloose, who they're running around the same speed. So these two are just going to be battling it out. Webbloom at 13 seconds back is also by no means out of it either. Meanwhile, back over to Guntar, 5th overall, leading the GTE class. Were he to hang on, I believe this would be his first championship series level win. He has won in the support series before, but never in a top division. And this might be his day. Still about 27, 28 seconds in front of Shano at the present time. And as I said earlier, Guntar with the very promising group of Green Mountain drivers. Team owner, actually, of that outfit. And he's got a solid group of drivers, an excellent group of guys who are all coming into their own. We saw Progar win at Indy Lights last week at Daytona Speed Weeks. And I expect to see more out of them in the future. All right, looks like Shano and Richcore are right back on top of each other. As a matter of fact, Rich has passed Shano again, moving up into 2nd. Shano back to 3rd in class. Shano, who, as I said before, DNF'd at Monaco in the first round. He needs every point he can get to get back in this championship, and he has a shot at it. Average Gamer, the point leader coming in, blew a motor today and is our only car that DNF'd at the moment. So this ought to give Shano a shot to make up some ground, give them all a shot to make up some ground in the championship. But these two are definitely having their way with each other here. And now they go side by side, and Shano makes the pass now. He retakes the lead. These guys are going back and forth. Battle for 2nd in GTE, something. It's not the widest track, and that is definitely a contributing factor to the degree of difficulty of making a move here. And you got to kind of run it on the edge, you know, using some of the curbing, some of the rumble strips, and you're taking your chances here. When you do that, like right there, Richcore gets a much better run off the corner as Shano hits the curbing, and he's back in the lead. You see these guys swapping it back and forth. One of them makes a little error, the other one goes back. They can't get away from each other. That's going to make this a compelling drive. But yeah, a lot of promising talent this season in SCL, I must say. And as a broadcaster here, as a competitor on the American Tour, may never have been a deeper field in the history of the SCL. We've seen some drivers who've come and gone who were spectacular talents, don't get me wrong. But from 1 through 15 these days, the top level series are as good as they've ever been, or at least as good as they've ever been. And this is an example. These guys are running hard here. Rich Core is a very promising driver. Shano, already a winner, as I said, season 24 and 25, Camel GTE champion. Now running on the international tour. So you see Shano overshooting a little bit. He's driving hard right here. Let's get on the chase cam with Shano. He is driving hard, trying to catch up to Rich Core right now and get by him. And I don't know if he's cooking the tires a little, just having a little trouble getting the feel for the track. But when Shano puts it together, he can go on a run. No doubt about that. He won, I believe, 9 races over the past 2 seasons. 9 class wins in the Camel GT series over the past 2 seasons. He has been nothing short of terrific in this discipline of cars. But new tracks here on the international tour, and he's trying to get a grip on them. All right, meanwhile, back up front, Rita continuing to lead Cut Loose now by about 4.5 seconds. With 37 minutes left on the timer. Well, what can you say there about the First Lady of the SCL, Rita St. James? 9 career IndyCar Series wins, including this season's US 400 at Daytona. Season 23 IndyCar Series champion and Indianapolis 500 champion. The first female driver to win a major points race in the long history of the SCL. The only one at this point. And she's had mixed results in sports cars, however. She's got 1 career win in the Camel GT Series. That was back in season 20 at Motegi. Tons of podiums. Hasn't had the top of the podium results in this discipline of racing, but we're talking about a driver here in Rita when she was a rookie in SCL, season 17. Had trouble qualifying for sports car races, and nowadays she's one of the top runners, or one of the top competitors. She has finished in the top 3 in points in a class in Camel GT now, and she's gotten a lot better over the last several seasons as a road racer. And here today, she's got a fast driver chasing her, and that's Cut Loose, and she's putting down 1:36.4. Let's take a look at the timings and see what our lap times are right now. The fastest lap of the race in the P2 class is actually Webbloom, is 1:35.5 is currently the fastest, just ahead of Rita, and then Cut Loose right behind that. In the in the GTE class, it's the 1:42.6 that Guntar has. That is the fastest. A bit surprising that his fastest lap is a full second quicker than Shano, but that's just fastest lap. That main race pace, as you can see, there's times they've been doing relatively the same. Remy hitting the pits from 4th place from JME Motorsports. And out he comes. Shano had another bit of problem again. He's fallen 9 seconds behind Richcore now for second in class. So Shano having his issues out there at the moment. Richcore's got a lighter car, but I believe they both still have to stop. So I don't think Richcore's leading on the cycle. I believe he's leading outright. Leading Shano, should say, outright. McToasty putting up the fastest lap in class that last lap. But he's already a lap down, I believe, to the class leader. But as you can see, his lap times are there. When McT puts it all together, he's going. He could have a car that would be running up near the front of the pack, as his lap times show. All he's got to do is tie it together, get the right strategy underneath him, put the right tires on the car, and he's been running solid. He has, despite his positioning here, he's got a run to be pretty proud of when you're running those laps in this group. As he is just off the leader. There's Guntar with McToasty right behind him, having just gone a lap down. Guntar's lead staying right at about 30 seconds over second place at the moment, so he's comfortable here with 33 minutes to go, but don't get too comfortable. One big mistake and that lead can evaporate pretty quick. All right, let's give Webbloom some track time from Inside Line Racing, running in third. About 22 seconds off of Rita St. James. He's been running good laps as well. Been down in the 137s. We said he's got a decent fastest lap time. Love to make a shot at moving up, but comfortably in a podium position right now on a good points day if he can hang on. Matter of fact, let's hop on board with Webb while we got some open time on the track in his Orica Nissan. That, to me, is a sign that the tires might be going a little bit, as you hear them locking it, not locking it up so much, but a little bit of slide under braking. We'll see if we can tell here where exactly that slide is coming from. Give you guys a little insight as to how the racing drivers figure this stuff out by feel. He's got a decent balance through that corner. No problem there. Yeah, he's got a good balance right now. You see, okay, the back end, the front there stabbed a little on him. Yeah, he's got a little bit of understeer in it. As a driver, I would be dialing in. You don't have the roll bar adjustments on these cars, so that what I would be doing in this circumstance is dialing a little bit of brake to the rear. Just enough to try to get that car to rotate that little bit more. As we've got Richcore hitting the pit lane. That's going to cycle Shano back past him into second in class, but Shano, I believe, still has to stop. Richcore appears to be taking tires to me, and out he comes. 30 minutes remaining here in the Imola Grand Prix. All right, Remy coming back out. Let's take a look at where he's at in relation to the leader. There's Remy. And there's Rita. So it looks to me, check the timings now, Remy a lap down to the leader at this point. But a little FaceTime to Remy and let you guys know a little about the Flying Dutchman. He was an SCL rookie way back in the day, season 12, along with yours truly. What we'd like to think was one of the best rookie classes in SCL history. Myself came out of there, Remy came out of there, Gearhead came out of there as a rookie. An excellent group of rookies that season. Remy's had himself a lot of success, particularly in support series on the American Tour, but he also has won 6 IndyCar races, including the season 17 Indianapolis 500 championship. He was the Indianapolis 500 winner in season 17. I remember it well because I was his team owner when he did it, and I was the second place car that season when he did it. Remy ran very steadily from seasons 12 through 21, and then when we made the switch over to Project Cars 2, he did not make the jump right away, retired from competition for about 3.5 seasons, and then came back last season to full-time competition, rejoined JME Motorsports this season, and he is just now getting his feel back for competitive racing. But he's starting to get it particularly in the support classes. On Thursday night in the Indy Lights race at Long Beach, he managed to come home with a podium, finished in 3rd. He was very ecstatic about that. And in the sports cars, he was never a dominant sports car racer, but he's getting his sea legs under him. And as you can see, his lap times have been solid at times. Just putting it all together is taking time for him, but that's why he's here. And Remy's one of those drivers that may not be lighting up the speed chart right now, but I promise you, SCL drivers and fans, that when Remy gets it together, he'll be up there. And he's also one of the best head-to-head drivers in traffic in the league, and always has been. All right, back out front, Rita still holding the lead. She's got about 8 seconds now on Cut Loose. Who's trying to pick it back up. But Rita maintaining that lead right now, although Cut Loose is flying. These cars are definitely going to make one more pit stop, and that's going to be the key point here in this race. In and out smoothly, and that is where Rita St. James is a specialist. No one's more prepared, very rarely gives races away with strategic or pit stop errors. And that's what she's going to be counting on. She's running around the same pace as Cut Loose. She's going to count on when it's time to make that stop, she's in and out and good to go. Cut Loose, meanwhile, 7+ seconds back. The second quicker on that last lap. Can he sustain it? Can he pull it through? That's the big question. He had a terrific drive in the last round at Monaco to pick up his first win in the International Le Mans Series. Take a time here and I'll pull up the Alright, pull up the full schedule for the International Le Mans Series. As we said earlier, today is round 2 of that championship. We'll give you a little rundown of what it looks like for the rest of the season in this series as soon as my schedule comes up. Here we are. Imola Grand Prix today. 2 weeks' time on August the 3rd, we'll be at Brands Hatch here for the British Sports Car Championships. August 17th at the Nürburgring for the Nürburgring 2 hours. We'll be at Spa on August the 24th, and the season will finish on September 21st at Monza. So a long way to go. Those of you American Tour drivers in the regular American time slots will be Long Beach later today and at Texas tomorrow for the Rebel 400 in the Winston Cup Series. Fresh off the Daytona 500, defending series champ and now 2-time Daytona 500 winner Defense Clap will be looking to continue his title defense. All right, we've got a race shaken down again as Shano, he has been off pace here today a little bit, I believe. Normally one of the fastest GTE drivers in the field. He has been ping-ponging with Richcore all day and has been struggling to get it up to pace at the moment. Still 30 seconds back from Gunter. I do not want to quit the session, thank you very much. But these guys, I'm not sure they have a pit stop. Well, do they or not? Are they trying to stretch it? I'm not sure. We'll get an estimation on that here shortly, as they're 4 seconds apart, and we'll see if they get any closer. We'll definitely try to catch to it. Meanwhile, Gunter 30 seconds out in front of the GTE lead. Smooth as clockwork here today so far, as that's McToasty who he's lapped. All right, Cut Loose has hit the pit lane with 20 minutes to go. Now let's see if this cues Rita to make her stop now, or is she just going to keep stretching it? If she feels there's enough of a drop-off, I can just about guarantee you she'll come in almost immediately. Webbloom passes Cut Loose into second. Let's see where he'll come out. All right, Cut Loose makes his stop and is out. I think he took tires. If he's 47 seconds back, he almost certainly took tires. And we'll see how that strategy changes things up for him. As Rita's coming up on traffic, we're looking to see her make her pit stop. Webbloom also needs to pit, so I don't think she's worried about him. She's seeing what's going to happen with Cut Loose. All right, Rita coming through now. Knows she's going to be making a pit stop. Cut Loose got by Webbloom as well. I'm guessing he made his. Did he make his stop? Yeah, Webbloom just made his stop as we were cycling through that. Rita's the question. She's going to be coming in at some point. Does she get in and out in time? That's going to be the story. Cut Loose 45 seconds back. Will Rita come in, take tires? Will she risk it and not take tires? I think Cut Loose took tires based on the amount of time that he went back. We'll see if Rita tries to use some strategy here. JME, of course, has a admittedly well-earned reputation for being strategically on the ball most of the time, and I guarantee you we go through the same anxiety as everybody else, and that's what Rita's doing right now. She's planning for that stop, and she's thinking, what do I need to do here? What do I need to do? That's exactly what she's thinking. Just 16 minutes left here in the Imola Grand Prix, and that's the debate. Do I take tires? Do I not take tires? What's it coming down to? We'll try to catch her pit stop, but in the meanwhile, there once again, Shano and Richcore have been glued to each other for almost this entire race, battling for second in GTE. Shano has not had his best car underneath him today. So to get a points finish up here would be worthwhile, as they're running now about a minute behind. These two on top of each other now. Get the camera on Rich. He's looking for a place to make the pass again. I think he's quicker yet again. He's been faster for most of the last 40 minutes or so of this race. Shano just not quite as, definitely not comfortable in his car. I'm not seeing the normal Shano behind the wheel here. And these two are just going at it. Less than 15 minutes to go. These guys working lap 55 for the overall. Rich just having trouble finding that spot, finding that position. Webbloom appeared to gain some time on cut loose there on the cycle of pit stops. He's within 6 seconds, which if he can pick up the pace and cut loose have any problems, he might be able to catch him and make a move himself. All right, Rita hits the pits. We'll come back to this battle momentarily. Let's see what Rita does here on her final pit stop. She hits the stall perfectly. The JME crew goes to work. Fuel going in. Not going to be much. And out she comes. I think she might have forsaken a tire change there. There's her coming out, and she is well out in front of them. So Rita definitely did not take tires on that stop. She's got 13 minutes. And by the time she gets up to speed here, about 23 seconds. Rita definitely made the stop without taking tires on that last stop. Now the question is, in 13 minutes, can Cut Loose and Webbloom chop down that 20-plus second deficit? Rita realizes with 13 minutes and a minute 45-second lap, you're looking at maybe 8 laps, 9 laps, somewhere in that range at the absolute most. They would have to be a second and a half to 2 seconds quicker, which is not impossible if her tires are bad enough. Her teammate Remy let her through there. But they're going to be coming gangbusters on fresh tires, and this is not what Rita wanted to see. She is running into the back of traffic right when she needs to be as far ahead of traffic as possible, as she's trying to work her way around them. This is interesting. This is when racing gets interesting, because you've got people on different types of pit strategies, different cycles. They're on the same cycle, but Rita choosing to make the stop without a tire change. And Cut Loose and Webbloom are going to be gaining on her here. I don't believe she'll be running her optimum lap times here at the end, but it may be enough to hold on. All right, let's get back to that battle. Richcore, he gets side by side with Shano. Does he have it coming into this left hand, or... Oh, these two are side by side. White knuckle stuff here. And they are just not backing off, either one of them. Doing a great job, not hitting each other, not making contact. But Shano hanging on for the time being. And as things have cycled out, now I'm not sure if it's no, it's fine. They're not that far ahead of TS24 fan. He's only 8 seconds behind them. And running faster than they are as they're stuck together. So if he has any luck here in the last 10 minutes, he could get right back into this battle as well. Rita, a few seconds off right there. I think she's finally through that traffic, though. And if she's finally through that traffic, she might be able to stem the bleeding here. But meanwhile, Richcore, Shano, you're looking at the battle for second in the GTE class. Rich all over him, just can't find the line. He's looking for it. No doubt there. Pair of Ford GTs going at it. As we are inside of 10 minutes here in the Imola Grand Prix and the SCL Season 26 International Le Mans Series. This is sports car racing at its finest here, folks. Another interesting fact is, as you can see on the track map, everybody concentrated in the same area of the track, so they're not that far apart from each other. As we are well inside of 10 minutes now. This battle is just not ending. These two are right together for most of this race. New friendly rivalry developing here. There he goes again. Going into the 2-3 complex, 2 into Tamburello. One of the better passing spots on the track if you can make the move. Richcore makes the pass this time, but he hadn't shaken anybody. Shano's still right there with him. Shano did a fantastic job holding him off as long as he can, and he's going to come back himself this time. Side by side. Ooh, contact, and Shano goes around. Shano goes around. Richcore pulls it up. Richcore pulls it up and waits for him. Sportsman-like move there by Richcore, which is not necessary. That was purely a racing accident. Oh, Shano getting knocked into the wall there by one of the P2s. I believe that's Remy. And here comes Rich. That brought TS24 fan right back into it. There's TS24 moving into second as Rich and Shano Kano got into each other. I would have thought that was a racing incident, and if I was Rich, I'd have went on and apologized and said I didn't mean to. But those guys were side by side. That was not a dirty move by any means. They were side by side coming out of the turn and happened to touch quarter panel to quarter panel. And should I say front panel to quarter panel. But that puts TS24 fan up in front of him. Richcore back to third, Shano back to fourth. And with 5 minutes to go, Cut Loose is not gaining the time necessary on Rita. She's settled in. She's still giving away time, but with 15 seconds and 5 minutes to go, it looks to me like she might be in the driver's seat to hang on to this thing. We'll check back in with that, but for right now, here we go. Shano, he goes by Richcore in the dirt once again. As I said, Richcore, very sportsmanlike move. I would have kept going. I would have kept going and apologized for it, but hey, he made a right move there. They're about 3 seconds behind TS, who pulled through them on their cycle of that accident. There's TS in the front of that group, and with less than 5 minutes to go, he might have just ran himself into a possible podium finish, possible runner-up finish, as they are more than a minute behind class leader Guntar now, all by himself and just cruising. But here we are, Shano and Rich right on top of each other. They've got a prototype between them. I believe that's Webloom, who knows he's stuck in third place, and I think he's trying to get out of the way and let them have at it. Three and a half minutes on the clock. Class leaders are in pretty comfortable position, but here's the drama, the battle for third at the moment. Richcore is all over Shano Kano. And he is trying everything to get by him, to get on that podium himself. They are just a couple seconds behind TS, but I don't know that they have the time to catch him and pass him here with only a couple laps remaining. TS showing why, and we'll go to TS's car right there, and you can see Shano and Richcore behind him. TS showing why you stay on it. He was back and forth, 8 seconds back, wasn't gaining a whole lot of time, but those two got tangled, and here he comes through. Meanwhile, Richcore, Shano, they got a P2 stuck around them. That's Webloom. Nothing they can do about that, as they're trying to work their way through there. But what a fight we got going on here. All right, we're getting down to the nitty-gritty here. I believe next time by, they should get back in time. The leader will be back in time, and they should have one more lap to go here at Imola. That is the battle for third place in the GTE class, a spot on the podium and 3 big championship points on the line. Richcore down to the inside. He is all over Shano Kano. These two have had a heck of a battle all day long. Ooh, a little bump in the rear. Catches it in the sand. Don't loop it. Ooh, Richcore might have taken himself out of it right there. He's going to have a shot to try to get back on it and come at him. All right, and on the white flag lap, Rita St. James of JME Motorsports runs in the GTE class full-time in Camel GT. She has plenty of experience in prototypes, having run it for the past several seasons, but making a spot start here at the Imola Grand Prix, just looking to get some track time for tomorrow's Formula One race, and she is going to, appears is going to come out with her first career SCL International Le Mans Series win. It would make it the 4th major championship series that Rita's earned a points win in. All right, she's coming off the final set of corners and bringing it home. Rita St. James of JME Motorsports will be your Imola Grand Prix champion in the prototype class. Flashing her lights for the crowd. There it is. Great job there. We'll see where Guntar is at. He's on the back stretch. Right, here comes Cut Loose, your pole sitter and point leader. A terrific run, brings it home in second place. Webb Bloom not far back with a solid run into third. Richcourt right back on Shano again. He managed to climb back up, but I don't know that he's got enough to get him before the line. He gives it a shot. Not quite. Right at the line. Shano holds him off for third place in class, but it's going to be Guntar who takes home the victory in the GTE class, his first International Le Mans Series win. So 2 first-time International Le Mans Series winners here today. Guntar from Green Mountain Enterprises right there, and Rita St. James. All right, let me go ahead and get my screenshots here. Now I'm going to set my party up so I can bring everybody in, and you guys hang tight, and we'll have a chat here with the drivers. All right, guys. I made great race. We got 2 first-time winners in the series. First-time International Le Mans Series winners in Rita St. James and Guntar. For Guntar, it's his first points win in a major championship series. So congrats there. Lot to talk about, guys, if you want. The broadcast party, I made it public. So if you want to come in there, just make sure you've got your voice set to allow your mic to share. And you guys are welcome in there. I definitely want the 2 winners in. And anybody else who can get in there. But a great run from everybody. Shano and Richcourt, best new friendly rivalry in the series. We'll talk about that one in there too if you want. That was a hell of a race. I will say this though, before we get into the end of there and the official post race, just as a driver and as an official giving you a bit of instruction, is that similar situation happened to me last night at Long Beach in the IndyCar. Myself and Grandpa Bubby were side by side coming down Seaside into turn 9. And when we hit the corner, we're both heavy on the brakes trying to stay off each other. And just because I was the one on the inside, my quarter panel hit his rear quarter panel, and he's the one who went in the tires. Now, when he bounced off the wall and then came to a virtual stop, I kept going and apologized. So my point there was, when you and Shane were having that great race at the end, Richcourt, super job as a sportsman, that when you got into him coming off the corner and he started to shake off into the grass, you tried to hold up and keep it even and do it that way with no more yellows out, no cautions and all that. That's a cool move. But the second he spun it around trying to get it going, I would have took off and apologized later. And my point being is this: is that in that situation, if you can give back the advantage that you might have got, you're right to do it. But the second Shano lost it completely, I would have went and said, you know what? If there's a 2-point deduction coming or a grid penalty coming for that, yeah, that was not a race. That was a racing incident. You both had position coming off the line. You both had position coming off the line, and it just so happened that because of where you were, Shano took the worst of it. Same thing with me and Grandpa last night. I didn't do anything wrong. He didn't do anything wrong, but just where he was at, he took the worst of it. In that situation, you get all the mad respect for being a gentleman racer, Rich Core, but personally, the second he lost the car completely, I'd have taken off. It's easier to beg for forgiveness than ask for permission. You know what I'm saying? So keep that in mind. I would have gone and said to myself, hey, if I'm getting a 2-point penalty or if I'm getting a grid penalty next week, fine. But I'm not waiting up for 5-10 seconds while the guy gets going. So that would have been, just for you guys to keep in mind for future reference, that would have been understandable to do that. But the second he lost it completely, I would have went. I would have said, screw it, I'm gone. Yeah, no, he wouldn't have reported you anyway because there wouldn't have been there wouldn't have been anything to report because honestly it was a racing incident. But you get all the mad props for being a sportsman, Rich. But in that case, you weren't in the wrong at all, anyway. And then even if you had totally dumped him, once he went completely around trying to get going, I would have been off. I would have left and then been like, I'm sorry, and if I'm getting a penalty, I'm getting a penalty. But just for future reference, either way, you guys had a hell of a battle. Shano did not have his normal car. We'll talk about that in there too. But you guys did a great job today. Everybody was quick. What's that? I did you see any difference in your car performance? Well, what you need to do then here, real quick while we can, is let me double check. It's possible. Let's see. No. Yeah, I didn't see anything on your onboard that indicated that the car itself. It just didn't look like you had your tires under you most of the race. But yeah, you got to understand too that RS Dash might be reading it as though it has damage on. You know what I mean? Even though it doesn't. Well, it's possible. Yeah, it's possible. I mean, well, all right. Have a good one, man. Great race. Great job, Webb. All right. If you all want to hop in, I made that party public. So we'll hop in there and do the post race. Cut loose was the poll, yes. So yeah, feel free to hop in if you want to be interviewed. If you don't, guys, great race and mad props. And all the way through, like even McToasty finished 5th in class, had the fastest lap in his class. So what does that tell you? That tells you, Toasty, as soon as you figure out the long-term strategy, you're going to be right there with the rest of them. Yeah, yeah. He had the fastest overall lap in the class. So as soon as you catch that strategy, you're there. You coming into the post race, Shane, or are you taking off? All right. No problem. All right. Anybody who wants to come in, feel free to come in. We'll do the post race. Great race, guys.
True. I had the better late run car. He had the better early run car. It would have balanced out.
All right, so Imola Grand Prix in the books. Rita St. James and Guntar, your two class winners here at Imola. Spectacular race. Let's start with the P2s. Rita, first win in the series. Aren't you glad you made a spot start here? But
Yes, I am.
I think the big story right there, and I don't know if we'll get cut loose in here or not, but the big story right there was that last stop. I'm almost, you didn't take tires,
I didn't.
and Cut Loose and Web Bloom did. They gained time on you, but not enough. And I remember watching that. You came out of the pits, and I'm doing the calculations, and I'm telling the viewers that it's right on the edge. If they can run a second and a half quicker than you on those new tires, they might catch you by the end. But and then when you caught that group of traffic, I remember I could feel your heart sinking from the broadcast booth, going that this is not what I need right now to get behind traffic. So you must have been sweating it at the end. Tell us how it went for you.
Yeah, the race went very well. I couldn't. I kept catching cut loose, and then in traffic, I kept falling back behind again. I got up to about 3 seconds, and I dropped to seven, and all this, you know. So first pit stop, I wasn't going to take tires. I was just going to risk it. And so he came out just in front of me. I do believe, actually, you know. In and change tires, and I thought, if I make one mistake coming into the pits and putting tyres on, it puts him in front and I won't pass him because it's hard to pass here. So I thought all I can do is take the risk. Obviously with old tyres, and come the last 5 laps I was just watching it and I was just easing off. I wasn't going to risk spinning out or anything. I could just take.
Yeah, it worked out. It was a proper strategy. You did an excellent job, and I just said, like I was telling the guys watching the race, this is a perfect example of of the tops in sports car racing, because despite the smaller field and this, you guys, there was racing all over the track, and the strategy is really what it came down to there at the
It
end.
did.
Meanwhile, down in the GTE class, Guntar, uh, you seem to have an easy time of it over the last half. I came back from seeing the misses off, and you had a pretty good lead.
Yeah, I mean, it's unfortunate, right off the bat that Gamer disconnected as early as he did. I think we would have made it would have made for one hell of a race, but yeah, I think a big part of it was just strategy. I knew what I could do on a full tank, and as soon as I saw what we were starting with fuel wise, I had a pretty good inkling that we could make it on one stop. So it was just it came down to, did I want tires or not, and the the car was hooked up well enough on the tires that it was on. I, we made a call, said stay the course, just fill the tank and get her back on the track. And I came out, I think it was 28 seconds ahead of Shano at that point, and set the cruise control and let her ride.
Yeah, it worked. I mean, you were able to keep the car underneath you and barely put a wheel off, and they were struggling to catch it back. But hey, first win first win in the series, your first points win in a championship series.
Yeah, it feels really good to have that under the belt and under the belt relatively early. Career wise. I mean, this is my first full-time season in the American Tour. I run the International Le Mans Series as often as I can, but um, yeah, it's a very good feeling to have that under the belt and have it well under the belt. Um, yeah, here, even now, it very easily could have gone Shano's way or even TS's way. Um,
We get.
you know,
Oh yeah, absolutely. So TS comes home in second in the class there. Uh, was running not far behind when Shano and Rich had their tangle and shot through and held on to it. Um, Shano was definitely a little off pace for whatever reason, whether it was a damage glitch or whatever you want to call it. I would say either way, that's just racing. That stuff happens. Believe me, I've run with a car that lost a cylinder before, and it's not fun. It's not fun at all to run down a cylinder, especially when you only got like a two-stroke or a four-cylinder engine. It's really bad. So I could understand that, but TSU were a perfect example today of why we tell these guys all the time not to do the O'Brien slash Shano slash whoever thing of 10 minutes into a race or two races into a season going, it's over. It's over for you. You were behind on the time chart, but we could tell on the lap times you were doing okay. And then when everything cycled back, you were within striking distance of those two and gaining on them because they were on top of each other. And there you came through. So the question I have for you is when you're back there running in fourth, did you know you had a shot at second coming towards the end of the race if things cycled out, or were you just driving hard hoping for the best?
I was driving hard and kind of watching split times too, because I knew I was catching him, but not the rate I wanted to because I kept making mistakes here and there. And then they had their incident, and I just drove through it
Yeah,
and got lucky.
it works. It's, there's, as I used to say to guys, I remember winning, I've won more than my share of somewhere in the neighborhood 50 some odd points wins and counting all series, and I can, more than probably half of them are on strategy or whatever. And I remember the guy specifically one time who told me, you got lucky. And I said, yeah, I did, but you can sit over there and make excuses, and I'll polish the trophy. How about we do that? So that's the way I look at it. Racing's racing. You came through it there. Rich Core, no secret that's a promising driver in what his second season. Might have made a couple starts back in 24, so his third season. But came of age today. You took on bad car or not, you took on a two-time Camel GT champion and seemed to have the measure of it. And we talked about it after the race, and that, like I said, I would have drove on once he looped it, but we'll leave that subject alone and just go with the fact that you guys you put on the show of the drive of the race. You guys were on top of each other the whole time. You take the lead from him. He take the point back from you. I think you'll tell us, and I'll ask you. You had a car that all things being good, you could have won the race.
Yeah, I did, but the strategy I was on, it was a two-stop, so it was gonna be hard to get close to Gunter. And at the time, like midpoint, I was looking at third, because Shano at that time looked a little too far off.
Yeah, but you caught up to him. You did a great job. It's a classic thing of anybody who is a racer as opposed to a gamer knows that you can catch someone, but catching them and passing them, in a public room, you pass them with your bumper. In a real league, and the way real racers drivers, competitors drive, that's not how you do it. And you were catching him. You had the measure of him, but he was holding his line pretty well. You were being real patient and trying to get back. But even when you'd have a little off, you'd catch back up. I thought you had an excellent drive, maybe outside the winner's drive of the race, because you kept running back up through all the trouble you run into. And I thought you definitely had a shot to secure second, and all things being equal, might have had a shot at taking the win. But really a good drive, and you put on a show. You got yourself, as we say to the guys, you got a lot of airtime today. And you earned it.
Again, I didn't think I was going to be fighting for second. And it wasn't until Shano said that he had a problem with his car, whether or not he did. He wasn't up to pace, so I knew I could do another pit stop for fuel and come back at him. And at the very end, my tires, there was nothing on the bar. There was just a little sliver of green.
Yeah.
So I stayed behind him because I knew if I went past him and pushed too hard, I would probably waste my tires a lot faster.
Yeah.
So
So
I
you
had to
waited.
stay behind him and wait.
But that was smart. When you knew once you were that's something. Listen to one of our veteran drivers talk about it, because one of his favorite buzzwords that he's heard me say is racecraft. There's a lot of guys who are fast, a lot of guys who pick up the games and they can drive fast, but only real racers understand racecraft, and that's racecraft. At that point in the race, you understand Guntar's too far off. Nothing you do is going to catch him unless he has a problem. And so you realize right there that this is what I need. I need something to get past Shano and stay past them at the end. And you were smart to wait it out like that. And all things being equal, you would have come out. And like I said before, that situation, I bump a guy like that. There's no more, it's American Tour race and there's no more cautions, or in this international tour when there are no cautions. I would have checked up as he tried to get it off the grass. The second he pegged that throttle and spun around, I'm waving in the rearview mirror and going, sorry, man, but that's it. So keep that in mind for the future. Even if I had dumped him, which you didn't, that was a pure racing incident between the two of you. It just so happened he took the worst of it because of where you were at. But even if I had dumped somebody, I would say, you know what, I'm going to go get this podium and I'll take my grid penalty or my 3 points or whatever it turns out to be, because I waited and he looped it and there's nothing I can do there. But either way, you had an excellent car. You could have easily ended up, you probably earned a second place finish, and you're going to walk out of here in fourth. So still a decent points day, but we got to say either way, you made your name a little today, no doubt. You ran one of the most accomplished sports car drivers in the league right down to the wire. And so very good performance. Anybody in here I'm missing? Anybody else got something to chime in? Let me see who else I got. No, I think we covered everybody. But really great race, guys. Congrats again to Rita and Guntar and all of you. Put on a good show. And that's about it. Let me go ahead and wrap up the broadcast. Those of you watching, we'll be back on the air later on tonight. We've got American Tour. We'll be back at Long Beach, where the Grand Am Touring Series will kick off the feature race of the night, the Long Beach GT Classic and the Camel GT Series. So for all the drivers, our two winners, Rita and Guntar, one more congratulations here from Imola and the SCL Racing Network. Everybody have a good night. We'll see you next time.